When we go out to eat, we never agree on where to go.
I want burgers.
Pizza.
Tacos it is.
The one thing we do agree on is we all want unlimited high-speed data. That's why we switched to Metro PCS.
Stop by Metro PCS with the whole family and get 4 lines with unlimited LTE data for just $100, period. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out.
Coverage not available in some areas. Offers require port and of number not currently active on T-Mobile network. During congestion, the fraction of customers using more than 35 gigs per month may notice reduced speeds. Video streams at up to 40p. No tethering. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Welcome to Define You Radio. Class is in session with your host, the Southern Belle of Bold, Valencia Griffin-Wallace. Are you ready to unapologetically build your confidence, achieve goals, and design a life worth living? Learn the life lessons and strategies to define your life, money, and business. Pens and papers ready? Class is now in session.
Yes, and yes, I am loving the new intro. I hope you guys are feeling it too. With that being said, welcome to Define You Radio. Classes in session. I am your host, the Southern Belle of Bold, Valencia Griffin-Wallace. Define You Radio Classes in Session teaches women how to unapologetically build their confidence, achieve goals, and design a life worth living. Each show discusses the life lessons and strategies from guests who have decided to define their life, money, and business. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and make sure you connect with us on Facebook. Well, guys, if you listened in last week, you know I said I was coming back with a special announcement, and to do that, I actually brought back a special guest. She is a Define You Radio alum, whatever the correct terminology is. I'm going to find out one day, because sometimes I want to throw the I on that. So with that being said, let's welcome Queen P to the show.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Can you hear me?
Well, yes, you sound perfect.
Okay, thank you.
So, Queen P, why don't you go ahead and make that special announcement?
Yay! I'm jumping up and down in my chair right now. So thank you so much for having me on just for this little piece. Y'all only going to hear my voice for a second. But I just wanted to let everybody know, thank you so much for all the support and amazing pour out in the release of Transition Ashes Emanating Beauty. And we were on the bestsellers list for 3 different categories. Number 3 in, hold on, let me tell you what it is, because I wasn't ready for that. Number 3 in parenting and relationships. We were made it to number 6 in self-help, and we made it to number 13 in conflict management. And I'm so excited because that even beats out Transition 1, or Transition Create the Life You Desire. And I was just reading some of the reviews, and I am just blown away. I knew that the book would help some people, but I had no idea, how much. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. We are now, for Queen V and I, we're on together. We're 2-time best-selling authors. For the other co-authors, they are newly best-selling Amazon authors. Thank you, guys, so much for all your support. Back
Yay!
To you,
Well,
Queen
that was a perfect segue. So, guys, all month long and a piece of next month, we are talking to some of the fabulous co-authors of Transition Ashes Emanating Beauty. And tonight I am welcoming, she's a newbie to Define You Radio. I'm excited to have her. If you guys seen the picture, she's beautiful, and the dress, I need to find out where she got it from, because I'm like, I need that dress in my life. But today we are talking to Miss Tasheikya Hunter on her transition, because she went from being a teenage mom to a best-selling author, and there's so much in between. I'm excited So let's go ahead and welcome Miss or Mrs. I'll get it when she gets on, Hunter, to the show.
Hey, hello everyone. How are you?
Hey, Tasheikya, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm doing really good. It was a very exciting weekend. So before we get into your story, because I've read over your bio and it's so interesting. Before we get into that, the moment you found out that you were officially one of the bestsellers, or you are officially, like, you have that title now, let's be honest, what did you do?
I'm going to be honest at first. I was just so shocked and overjoyed, that being like you said, a teen mom and going through so much in between there, it was not really believable until probably about 72 hours later. And then it started to sink in. It just seemed like a dream come true. Like, what? Like, how did this become possible? But,
wow.
Yeah, it took about 3 days.
Okay. So that means, let's see, this happened Saturday. So basically yesterday you kind of was like, yeah, I'm pretty much a best-selling author now. Is that how it happened?
Yes. And then definitely when I read how you introduced it on your page, when the words just came alive to me. I don't know how you wrote it, but it just came alive. And I was like, wow. It's not like I was saying it, but it was somebody else saying it. So it just became alive to me. And it just was like, wow, this is really true. Like, it's not a dream anymore. It became truth. So
wow.
Yesterday, it was real.
So now, and because I know Queen P still on the line, I believe. Queen P, you still there? Maybe. No? Okay. Well,
yes, I'm still here. I was being respectful and muted myself.
Well, I just want to ask a question. I'm going to ask Tasheikya first, and then I'm going to let you answer it real quick. Because maybe it's just me with my, my Southern Belle-ness personality. But once Transition, Create the Life You Desire, hit bestseller last year, when I introduce myself, I will say, hi, I'm Valencia Griffin-Wallace, best-selling author. So, Tasheikya, are you going to incorporate that into your vocabulary?
Of course.
Okay.
I sure am. Yes, I am. I'm going to say, I am Mrs. Tasheikya Hunter, the best-selling author.
Yes, I claim, love it. Precious, do you do that? Do you introduce yourself like that?
I do when it's business related. When I'm speaking to people about writing and things of that nature. I haven't tried really to introduce. I'm gonna try that though because it sounds nice. Hi, I'm Precious Brown. I'm best-selling author. I like that.
Yes, I'm going to tell you. Yes, I introduced myself earlier this year or late last year when I met one of my husband's bosses for the first time, like one of his head bosses. That's exactly how I introduced myself. I kid you not. I'd have to get my husband on because I know my husband was like my wife. But his coworkers, they know. And so I sure did. He was like, hey, hun, this is my boss, so-and-so. I was like, hi, I'm Valencia Griffin-Wallace, best-selling author and Craig's wife.
I love it.
So I'm so serious. You guys know life is too short. You let the world know what you have accomplished. Because that's an accomplishment and a title that a lot of people don't have, and they don't know it's possible. And you see someone that you run across in everyday life, and that's the title, because it wasn't easy. I mean, writing and even everything going into transition, that's not for punks. You got to be a soldier too.
Agreed.
So, Mrs. Hunter, why don't you go ahead and tell the audience, because I feel like I know you, but why don't you go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about who you are besides a best-selling author?
Well, if anybody have read the book or are going to read the book, I was a teenage mom who basically was a young, promiscuous teenager just searching for love in all the wrong places, and became pregnant at 17, and actually after that I ended up marrying my first husband, and it was out of a lot of insecurities and trying to become something that I wasn't. And then from there, I just basically tried to just take on this personality that was not me. And it just began to just put me inside of a box. And how I call it was a box basically made up of, I call it jewelry. And I would just try to put on this little pretty facade, like everything was all glitter and glam. But in the inside, I was dying, because I was trying to be something that I wasn't. I was trying to live up to somebody else's expectations. And I even call it those expectations is the fairy tale you expectations, not, your expectations. When you meet yourself, like, I feel like during this transition I had to reintroduce myself to myself, because, for so long you be trapped. I feel like I was trapped inside of this box. And in the book, I talk about waking up in the middle of the night, and I would have these like visions of being in a box, like I was going to suffocate. And so from there, I would wake up screaming to the top of my lungs in the middle of the night. My kids at night would probably thought I was crazy, because I really feel like I was like trapped. And, trying to live up to family's expectations, of course, like I said, and just seeing other people around you. And I just got lost in the sauce, as I say, And from there, I had to basically find myself. I tell people, you may hear me use a lot of analogies, but that's just how I am. I try to get people to paint the picture, the vivid picture, not the story picture, or, what I may put on paper. But I literally had to unbury myself. And I went through pain and crying late at night, drinking, doing, drugs, smoking weed, just to try to have an insanity so that I could, smile in front of people, because that's what people was used to. So I was going to give them what they was used to, but it was all fake. So.
Wow. You hit so many points, and I love that you had to reintroduce yourself to you. Like, okay, this is me. Not that me that y'all want me to be, but this is the real. This is who I am without the makeup. This is what it is. And I could only imagine waking up, and I think it was probably like a sign. And would you agree, like, you having those dreams of being like trapped in a box?
Yes,
and you waking up screaming. Did your kids come running in the room like, do I need to call somebody?
Well, no, look, I'm going to be honest, because I'm going to be real. At the time, I had the man that I'm married to now, he was my boyfriend, so he would be there to comfort me. And he would try to, shed some light on what was going on. But me still trying to not really embrace who I had become over the years. The teen mama. Now I was the divorced wife. I was the person that was in church and then got out of church. And I wasn't really trying to embrace who I had become. I just keep trying to become this fake person, not the person what I've been through. So. And then he would just try to tell me over and over, like, and by the way, his name is KB. He go by KB, but he's my husband. He would just try to tell me, you got to be you. You can't live for nobody but you at the end of the day. And I used to be like, but what they gonna say about me? He's like, who cares? And I would be like, I don't know about that. And I would just really go back in the box. every time. Just go back in the box. And I would just keep letting people, I've used the term too, I would let people basically let their emotions control me. You know, if somebody say something, then I will get myself deeper in the box, like suppress myself, because I'm trying to meet up to their expectations instead of just letting it roll off. Okay, that's your opinion. That's what you think I should do. I would actually just feed into their opinion rather than forming my own opinion. You know, it was like that with what I would wear, with clothes. You know, it was all based on what somebody else would think rather than let you be okay with it. So it was just like you said, it was a transition. Like I said, reintroducing myself to me, knowing what I like. You know, what kind of foods do you really like? Quit saying you like to go to Chili's and you don't like Chili's. You know, stuff like that. Like, I had built this life around everybody else except me. So
I love that. Now let me ask you this. Do you have a name or a nickname for the person you used to be? And I ask that for a reason.
That's a good question. It's because
or what nickname would you give her who you used to be?
Lisa. That's what I would tell people. They'd be like, what's your name, Lisa? But I would just call that person, you know, to not even just I would just say that person was just confusion. You know, like if I was to give it an emotion rather than a name, I would just call it just confusion.
Wow. Now I want to hit on something that I read in your bio, because you talked about domestic violence. That was in your first marriage or
Yes.
previous relationship?
That was in my first marriage, and I experienced domestic violence heavy in that relationship, in that marriage, and I covered it up. Like it wasn't there, because I was determined to be this married woman and look with this white picket fence and, you know, these kids all by the same daddy and live this life. But the reality of it was I don't even know this person. Like, you know, like I don't even really know how I even got involved with this person. Well, I know how I got involved. It was from hurt from a previous relationship. And the first person that said, I think the words he better use is, "I give you my last breath." Oh, you will? Oh, I'm all yours. And from there, I began to, you know that the relationship was not good. I knew it was toxic, you know, and, you know, black eyes. And when you say you're a Southern Belle, my family is originally from Tennessee, so they're really strong women. So I probably, you know, in some tones use some probably derogatory words to him, but, you know, at that point when you know that the relationship is not good for either of you guys, it's just best you walk away because the kids are scared.
Right.
But me, I was determined, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to pray him through. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to do what I got to do. If I got to pray all day, night long, and really not realizing that you can't force a relationship. You can't force love. You know, love is natural.
Yes, indeed. I know you hit home for some women and men, because I keep excluding men, but I know we do have men in the audience that listen to the show. But you hit on so many points because you were so set on having this, what they call it, the American dream. 2.5 kids, white picket fence. We're married. We have kids together, but behind closed doors, I'm being beat out of me or emotionally scarred out of who I'm supposed to be, or, you know, however you want to put it. And then I love that you hit on that you went, you know, you prayed. I'm going to pray it out of him. We're going to make this work, do or die. What was that thing that you said, okay, Lord, apparently I need to leave because neither prayer nor holy water is working.
And that's what I in the book, it was like I had an epiphany. I'm a Christian and I pray and I meditate. And at the time, I'm gonna just be honest, that I prayed and in my heart spiritually, I heard God say, "You free to go. You are free to go." And because, and I tell people this is my own personal relationship with God, my God. I don't force my religion on anybody, but I just seen the analogy of this fence that was on one side it was dark and one side it was light. I was on the light side, he was on the dark side. And I basically, in this dream I had, I told him, just come through the gate. Just push your way. All you got to do is push the door. And he like, I can't come over there. And I was like, why not? All you got to do is open the gate. He was like, I can't. And so from then I woke up from that dream that day. And in the book I talked about it. It was, I call it the 60 minutes. And I knew that I had to get out, and I knew I couldn't tell him. But I was preparing myself for about 3 years emotionally, to prepare myself, because this person would tell me that I wasn't going to make it without him. Right. And that nobody else would want me with 3 kids, because by this time we had 3 kids. And I basically believed it. So I believed that I couldn't make it without him. So basically what I tried to do was just see how I can live my life without him. Like, what will it look like? So I began to picture myself without the relationship. And it took me 3 years to get to the point, and when I got to the point, I had 60 minutes. And in those 60 minutes, 1 hour, I made the decision, it's time to go.
Being someone, and I know Queen P has, and a lot of the women that I've talked to have been in domestic violence situations. And I know in my own case, I'll never forget it. I was like in my early 20s, but I remember it like it was yesterday almost. There were a lot of nightmares involved, and I was like, I'm either going to kill him or he's going to kill me. But in the process, when you're going through that situation, I know for me, I was being broken down, like you break something down, because it's hard to leave if you don't feel whole. So the more emotionally and physically he broke me down and beat me, it was almost harder for me to leave, because like you said, it's, who's going to want you, where you going to go, how you going to do X, Y, and Z. And it's almost like you have to leave with the pieces you have in order to put your pieces back together where they need to be. So
this is true. This is true. And my story, and I didn't leave with no type of peace. No type of peace. I didn't leave with no type of peace. I literally left, and it started a roller coaster fiasco, as I would call it. It lasted approximately almost 5 to 7 years. And from there, it was fake. I call it fake court cases, allegations brung against me. The kids, the family was turning the kids against me. They was just coming up with everything thrown at me. So I had no peace, like literally none. In the midst of all that, I owned a daycare business, and I lost my business because I had no peace. Every day it was something different. It was like I was still running, but I was determined not to give up. Actually, the analogy I used, I said, I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I'm going to ride it till the wheels fall off. With every strength, peace, power I have, I'm not going back. I'm done. So, like I said, I lost my business. The business was a successful business, over $100,000 a year business, and it broke me all the way down to welfare. Lost it all from just being emotionally tangled in other people's emotions or how they felt I should be doing things with my life after I left my ex-husband. And I allowed their emotions and their thoughts and their perceptions to control me to where I just lost everything. So,
well, I
encourage
applaud your strength.
Go. Yes.
And your realness. Thank you. Because I love when people, when I have those guests that come on and you know what they're saying is straight from their gut. Like, this is the ugly. I got to tell you, the ugly, before you get to the pretty, before you get to that best-selling author title, there was a whole brokenness, so to speak, before that. So thank you so much for just sharing the raw and the realness of that. So fast forward, you're out of that situation. You having nightmares, waking up the household, your husband telling you just be you, get out the box, Tasheikya, I can't sleep. What was that I like to call it a defining moment, that defining moment when you say, no more, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's me. I'm every woman. This is my Diana Ross, Whitney Houston moment, whatever you want to call it. What was that moment when you said, this is me? Like, what happened?
Well, that moment was when I dedicated myself back to God, and I began to have a relationship back with God. And this time it was different. It wasn't all about the religion. It was more or less about the peace of the religion, the peace of God, not the religion of God. Go to church every Sunday, not that facade, not that this kind. And as I began to see that, that my husband actually loved me for, like, I was able to see, I hope I'm saying it right, I was able to see God in him. Like, if he can love me despite all I've been through and all this drama I'm bringing him, and he's still in my corner, like how much more do God love me? A person, that I don't see, I believe in him, but it was like I was seeing it through him. And from there, I just began to say, like, you're better than what people say you are. You're better than, what you've been through. You don't look like what you've been through, and you don't have to become it. And then at that moment, I just began to just open my eyes to, like, this is new. You're not in that, like you said, fast forward. You're not there anymore. You don't have to live like that anymore. You're a grown woman. You don't got to live, and you got no kid, or, So that was my defining moment.
Okay. You truly felt like you were his rib, so to speak.
Yes, it was like, and I'm real transparent. People didn't like the way, we got together, and, it wasn't like, traditional or whatever, but who cares? And I really have to say that, my husband and his family was there for me, like, no matter what. Like, especially his mom, like, she was, like, there. Like, I had never, had somebody that didn't even really know me. I wasn't even, we weren't engaged or nothing, and this woman was just there like family. And she just, showed me, like, you can't give up. She had been through a lot in her life, and she told me, she overcame drugs, and you can overcome anything if you put your mind to it. So through my husband, his mom, finding God again and getting some spirituality, and that's when the peace really started to come. and embracing it, not, going back to my old, surroundings and allowing the fear of what they're going to say overtake me.
Yep.
I just embraced who I had become, no matter if it was in real blood, as people say, oh, they ain't your family. But family is anybody that can embrace you for who you are.
Say it. Say it one more time.
Embrace you for who you are. They don't judge you, and it's just you can be you. And that's how it was, They allowed me to be me, and they accepted me for me. And then once I seen that, it's people out here that can actually accept you for who you are, then again, that transition the wheel started to spin. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened. It began. Yes,
it's a surprising feeling. Now, I don't know how you and your husband met, but I know me and my husband met online, and I would do it all over.
Well, we met at the club.
So it's funny that you say that because, there's so many stereotypes or things you hear, don't meet people online because they crazy. You might be getting catfished. Don't, if you meet if you meet somebody at the club, they going to always be in the club. It's all those things. And here it is. Somehow we found a way to make it work. And I love what you said about family and your in-laws. I love my in-laws. And I didn't know, honestly, and you probably could relate, like I didn't know that somebody who, like you said, don't know you, like really could show you that true, genuine love. Like, I have questions and I'll tell my DNA family all the time. My in-laws, they kind of better than y'all a little bit.
You have to be like, hold up, wait a minute. Like, this not traditional, but these my beats. That's what I say. Yes.
I love that, and I love that they embraced you, and it helped you reintroduce and embrace and transition into who you were supposed to be all along, or, all of that was to get you to the destination where you are and where you're going, because you're just getting started. I do have that feeling. You're just getting started.
Oh, yes.
Yay.
And then, I also owe it to Queen P. Queen P came back in my life. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I've known her ever since she was my aunt's friend, and we grew up in, like, the same community. But she was always like, why this little girl with us? And I told her, God bring her back like at the right time in my life when I re-met her. I say re-met her because it had been probably 20 years or so since I had seen her. And when she came back in my life, she also, like, was awesome. Like, I didn't even know until I, like, began to read her book. I think it's called Love Yo. A Look at Me. I think it's A Look at Me. I get them confused because all of them they just all good. You just got to get them and read them. But I was on that cruise, and she had this interactive workbook. And Queen P, you can stop me if you're still on the line and say which book it is. But it was one question in that book that began an additional verse out of me was tell the truth and nothing but the truth and the whole truth. That's how I just read it. I don't know if that's how I'm verbatim it, but and I just began to start from the beginning and just release okay, well, how did I get from here to there and how did I and I just began to connect the dots, and it was wow. I still ain't, even though I'm married and this is happy, it still was I was still stuck in the box, just drowning in the box. And she actually helped me. We would talk for hours in my office, and she just began to just unleash me. I say unleash me because that's how I
T, that was what book was that?
It was The Process of Change, A Look at Me. And the question said, requires you to give some examples of things you've been through and be honest with yourself about those particular things.
Okay. And it's always good, like when we write stuff that we know people are going to read versus when we write something that's just for ourselves. It's a difference. It's a difference, and I love that she helped you unleash the real you and connect the dots. And so when she came to you, or how did your involvement in Transition Ashes Emanating Beauty come about?
Well, I, had been watching Precious, doing her live broadcasts, and I would listen to what she was saying, and I really could relate to, everything she was, saying in her broadcasts. And then the last time, it was just like I got tired of telling the story. I felt like it was a broken record. Just keep saying the same story, and I felt like I was saying it out of in a victim mentality. And I felt like I needed to not make people mad at what I've been through, but just have people to, to actually go through the transition as well. So I felt like, being a part of Transition Ashes Emanating Beauty, I felt that I wanted people to be able to also tell the truth of what really happened in their own way, so that they can actually heal. Not from a victim standpoint. We all can sound like we was victims, but most of the time when you really tell the truth, you was the victim. You was your own enemy. So
say that. Say that.
I just had an aha moment and woke up, and I was scared when I hit send. When I texted her, I ain't gonna lie, I was like I was hesitant. I think I had typed it and then waited a minute, like I don't know if I'm gonna do this. I'm scared, but I know this is the time, and I need to do it. And then plus at work, me and Precious actually worked together. I was her boss for a minute, and she was, steady saying, I'm leaving this. I'm going to be the real me. I'm going to be the real me. I'm going to be my CEO. I'm going to be Precious Brown. And I just was like, okay, And then she didn't even know she was actually helping me still actually heal. It's because at the time I was the billing manager. And I really just was in there again just to save face or to just make people think that I had basically came up from when I failed, when I told you I closed the daycare business. And it was really not, again, me. It was still just like, it's a title, but it wasn't me.
Right. Right. Okay.
So
and
I
so
thank
you
her
hit
for that.
You hit send and was like, oh Lord, what did I do?
Yeah, I didn't even tell my husband. I just said, you know what? I'll tell him later. He gonna support me whatever I do anyway. So right. I hit send and was like, still I was like, maybe I should tell her I don't got the money.
Right. How can I back out of this?
But I still kept pressing forward. It took me a minute actually to just even start writing after I hit send and told her that I wanted to write.
So this is Transition Ashes Emanating Beauty. And I keep saying it, guys, because, there's transition, create the life you desire. So this transition was your first book, correct?
Yes, it was my first book. Yes, okay. It was.
And what is your chapter titled? What is the title of your chapter?
Trapped Inside the Jewelry Box.
And it's funny that you say jewelry box versus, you know, any other kind of box. So that kind of gives like a, not a summary, but gives people an idea of exactly what was going on or what the story may be about. So if you could tell us just maybe like a little bit, maybe a sentence or two about your chapter, what should a reader expect when they read that?
Well, what I would want them to get out of it is that you can't live a life pleasing others. You have to find your real, true purpose and your true identity, and you have to embrace it. No matter what it looked like to nobody else, no matter if it's, you got to embrace the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you have to go forward with life and be happy with it. That's what I want them to get out of it. Yes, and be free. Get out that jewelry box. Quit letting people wind you up and spin you around like the little ballerina in that jewelry box. That's where I got the title from.
That's a mic dropping moment. Somebody needs to post that on Define You Radio's page and tag Miss Tasheikya and me in, because a lot of people do that. A lot of us, because we want people to think the best of us. We want people to think our life is so pretty and cute and everything's okay, and you end up breaking yourself more, you know, like you said earlier about being the victim, but I had to look at the part I played. And, you know, because whether it's a small part or big part, something get us to the good, the bad, and the ugly. And even when I look at my domestic violence situation, I didn't ask for it, but I looked at how did I end up in, like you said earlier, like how did I end up here? Who is this person? And it was, I was going through a phase. I was fascinated with braids and people with goals in their mouth. That was like my only requirement. And, you know,
that's what you like.
I said, right. That's what I liked it. And I just thought it was, okay, he came with this image that I thought I wanted. And guys, this was like I'm 40. So this was like my early 20s. So that's when all that stuff was really, you know, that was the thing. You wanted somebody that was very cash money, no limit looking, you know. And it was like I should have had more requirements. Valencia, how did you end up here? Where did this person come? You know, it was all of those things. But I knew when you don't have any requirements, so to speak, then you get anything. You kind of get anything. So, yeah, I love that you hit on so many great points. So, depth. What is that? Determination, endurance. Me and this word about to fight. Thank you. I love you already.
That's okay. Perseverance. Oh, boy.
Yes. Truth and happiness. Let's talk about depth.
Yes. Well, how I came up with that is y'all gonna probably laugh at me, but it is what it is. I was running like a 10-mile race, like a charity event race, and it was 10 miles, and it was like hard, you know. And I kept hearing, like, at first it was like deep in my mind. And I'm like, deep. And I just began to doodle on paper, and it came like probably like in a day or so. And I was like, it's depth. And then as I thought about it, I was like, you know, while I was doing the race, all I kept telling myself is that it's only 10 miles. You know, after I got done with 1 mile, I was like, you only got 9 more miles. And then I just kept going. And so I thought about it like, that's life, you know. Although the race seems like it's long, and you might think you'll never finish, and the race is hard because in this race it was hot outside. I didn't feel comfortable. I'm not really a fast runner. I jog, so I thought about life.
Wait.
You know, we all.
Tasheikya, I gotta interrupt you real quick, okay? Because you're in Michigan, right? You're in Michigan. This race was in Michigan.
Yes,
y'all don't have real heat.
Michigan.
Y'all don't have real heat, okay? I just had to throw that out there. Like, what's hot to y'all? Like 80 degrees? You know, I have questions.
90 is hot. It was about 90 that day. So this called the creme, the race. And these people from Africa and all over the world, they come and they're running this race. But I understand what you're saying. It probably wasn't that hot, but it was hot to me.
Okay.
I was burning up.
Yes, indeed. So finish telling us about this 10-mile race. That's like awesome.
And then this race, it was just hills, it was valleys, it had some high points to it, it had some low points. But what made it interesting to me, that made me related to life, was it was all types of people running in this race. You had old people, you had some people walking, you had some people running. Like I said, you had the Africans there. They ran 10 miles in 30 minutes, because that's what they do. And like you said, it wasn't even hot in Michigan to them. It was probably fall to them,
Right.
And what made me say that is that, I looked up, what perseverance means, and it's like the driving force. And then when I look at determination, that's basically what I've been doing my whole life. Like, up until this point, I've been determined not to give up, And so, and then where the truth comes in is that if you know the truth, from reading precious books, the truth about yourself, then you could be happy. So when I put them all together, that's when I get the acronym D.E.P.T.H. And to me, that's who I am, and that's where that comes from. Deep.
I love. Congratulations on the 10-mile race and the lesson learned in that. And I love how you compared it with life, because it's very much like that, because you knew you already had like a mile down, 2 miles down. So it's like, why give up now? Because you're so close to the finish line. And that tells so much about your personality that you could look at it. Because, 10 miles, would you do it again? I have questions.
Girl, no, I can't even run a mile now. I try, but it's hard. It's hard. But I guess like you said, what I gained out of it, even if I never do it again, it's a life lesson to tell me that that's just my motto now. Like, you can apply it to any situation.
And that's something that nobody can take from you. Nobody can take that from you. You earned every mile. You earned that race. You earned all the lessons that came with it, and no one can ever take that from you. Whether you do it again or not, because even though you say no, might talk to you 2 years from now, and girl, I signed up. Just don't say, Valencia, you want to sign up with me, because y'all know I'm knock-kneed. I don't run. Okay, that's like against the rules of knock-kneedness. So I want to talk about goals. So, because you are the founder of G.O.A.L.S, why don't you go ahead and tell the audience what that stands for?
G.O.A.L.S is gaining outstanding achievements, living successfully. And what that is, it is an organization where we take youth, primarily girls, and basically take them out of their normal environment and actually teach them life skills. We allow them to open up from, a youth perspective of what's going on in their life, so they can get to their truth. And so that, they won't be 35 and, 40, 50 down the road trying to figure out how did they get to where they're at. And so it's designed for the youth ages 10. We really only like to get them when they're 12 up until 18. 18 is the cutoff, but it's really just really geared, really, I should just say, for middle school and high schoolers. And that's what it is. And then also with that program, we just try to, we don't force religion on them, but if they're open to any type of spirituality that will, like, encourage them or inspire them, then we will give it to them if they ask for it. But we don't force it upon them.
What made you start that organization?
I wanted to basically give girls or just youth. I keep saying youth. It's like, cause just like you said, I always feel like I exclude the guys, and they need it just as much as the girls.
Right.
And I wanted to basically help in areas where I felt like when I finally wrote my truth, where I went wrong at. And it was around the time of middle school. So I wanted to just be able to give kids an outlet to be able to just, get away from the cell phones, doing chores, and be able to, basically what we do is we haven't had it this year, but last year was the kickoff. We have like a yearly like lock-in sleepover, and basically they're able to ask questions that they may not be able to ask their moms, or, they may not have that support at home. So the goal is to try to teach them a life skill that they can actually either try to make money off of, and then if they got any like burning questions, something maybe about sexual orientation, because that's on the rise out here. We allow them to ask those questions, and we, have the parents, we tell them what's going to happen, but we don't discuss, confidentially, if they ask us something, we will answer it, best to our knowledge, and make sure that they just feel comfortable and safe, so that they can have somebody, I give them my number if they need to call me, which through the program, one little girl did run away from home, and she called me and was like, come get me. And I'm like, where you at? And she was like, I don't know, just come get me. And I'm like, well, how, so I talked her to walk into, a well-lit place, and picked her up, and then was able to get her back home safe to her mom. So that's what the program is for those people that have that, that life or death decision at the middle of the night, and I want to be able to be there for them. So that's what it's all about, goals.
And not only are you giving them a safe place to unleash or unload, you're also teaching them life skills. And when I look at young kids around that age, a lot of times the parents don't focus on that or teach them life skills. And, school really doesn't teach them those things, how to deal with real life situations, or how to write checks, or just how to manage, everyday situations as adults that we kind of learn is like on the job or on the life training. So I love that you're doing that, and I love that you did say, I'm going to teach them things I wish I would have known, because I think a lot of times people get to a certain position that they fought to get to, and they forget that you need to go back and teach it to somebody else. That's why we learn life lessons. They're not about for us just to survive it and make it through. No, it's about those people that's in the mud trying to make it through. I say all that to say I applaud you.
Well, thank you so much, because it was a big decision to even, do the grand kickoff, to get it started and going. And I'm still looking, for location to do the kickoff, another kickoff this year. But it's going to happen. I'm determined. I'm going to keep pressing until I find a building to have an event at. But it's going to happen. So just keep me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now that you put it out there, my audience and me especially, because I've gained the title drill sergeant, I will hold you accountable. Welcome to my world. And guys,
I love it.
Yes, y'all hold her accountable too, because what Mrs. Hunter is doing is I love it. I love people that's giving back, and so yeah, the youth needs you, and so yeah, I'll be periodically inboxing you. So for how can the audience? Well, number one, for the people that don't know, how can they get a copy of Transition?
Okay. Well, they can get a copy of Transition on Amazon.com, and by simply typing in Transition, Ashes Emanating Beauty. They can also purchase a copy from me, but which my name is Tasheikya Hunter, and you can find me on Facebook that way. And also you can go, I think it's on also Barnes & Nobles. But if you just Google the title on the web, you can actually it has 3 locations where you can purchase the book at as well. I would want you to purchase it from me, but I got to give my Queen P, Gilmore Publishing, a shout-out. So to officially tell you where you can get it, you can Google the title, and then you can purchase it online from any of the 3 locations. And also, I don't want to mess up her name or none of her little hashtags, but you can also inbox Precious S. Brown and get the book as well. Or you can inbox Queen V as well and get the book. So it's available at all 3 aspects. So yes, it is.
Yes, and y'all definitely have to check out her chapter, which is called, say it again,
Trapped Inside the Jury Box.
Yes, and yes. Definitely check out Transition, Ashes Emanating Beauty, guys, and leave a review. And you could even inbox me or Precious or Tasheikya and let us know your thoughts. Have you been trapped inside a jury box? Can you relate? I have questions. So where are you on social media? How can they connect with you? I know you're on Facebook, but where are you? Anywhere else? How can they find you?
Yes, I am on Instagram, and you can find me on Instagram it's Lady Shella 77, and like I said, just Facebook and Instagram at this time. And then they can also email me at mahunter77@gmail.com.
It's funny that you say that. Okay, so it's M.A. Hunter, because for some reason I was reading it as Manhunter. I don't know. I was putting extra. And I was like, okay, then all right. I'm gonna leave that alone. It has been you're awesome. I just want to tell you that you're awesome. It has been a truly great interview. Thank you so much for coming on Define You Radio. Did you have any closing thoughts or anything you would like to leave the audience with?
I would just want to leave everybody is like you. Just be you. Be the real you. If you don't know who you are, keep pressing towards finding who you are to discover you. And I would just, encourage people to just walk in your purpose, not nobody else's, but you, your purpose. And I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to share and to be on your radio show. You have been awesome. I enjoyed talking with you. And, again, just like I said, just be you.
Yay, well, just be you, guys. Hashtag just be you. Well, welcome to the Define You Radio family. I will say that. And thank you again so much for coming on Define You Radio. Guys, make sure you connect with Mrs. Tasheikya Hunter. You can find her information on the Facebook page for Define You Radio. Make sure you also tune in next week as we talk with another fabulous co-author from Transition to hear about her story. If you enjoyed today's session, stay connected by subscribing to the show on iTunes and Google Play. And as usual, I'm ending with a quote. It's from Steve Maraboli, and I'm probably messing the last name up, but The quote is, "My scars tell a story. They are a reminder of times when life tried to break me but failed. They are markings of where the structure of my character was wielded. Y'all get the point. With that being said, guys, I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Pens and papers down. Class is over."
Thanks for listening to Define You Radio. Class is in session. Connect with the show at www.defineyouradio.com. Pens and papers down. Class is over.
When we go out to eat, we never agree on where to go.
I want burgers. Pizza.
Tacos it is.
The one thing we do agree on is we all want unlimited high-speed data. That's why we switched to Metro PCS.
Stop by Metro PCS with the whole family and get 4 lines with unlimited LTE data for just $100, period. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out.
Coverage not available in some areas. Offers require port and of number not currently active on T-Mobile network. During congestion, the fraction of customers using more than 35 gigs per month may notice reduced speeds. Video streams at up to 40p. No tethering. See store for details and terms and conditions.
When we go out to eat, we never agree on where to go.
I want burgers. Pizza.
Tacos it is.
The one thing we do agree on is we all want unlimited high-speed data. That's why we switched to Metro PCS.
Stop by Metro PCS with the whole family and get 4 lines with unlimited LTE data for just $100, period. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out.
Coverage not available in some areas. Offers require port and of number not currently active on T-Mobile network. During congestion, the fraction of customers using more than 35 gigs per month may notice reduced speeds. Video streams at up to 40p. No tethering. See store for details and terms and conditions.